Halloween's upon us, and here's 5 kickers I'm going to bench. The first guy's Robbie Gould of the San Francisco 49ers. Gould here, he's had a struggling season this year, and it's not his fault. Just this offense can't get in sync or get anything going. But Gould last week, he had a good ball game, surprisingly, versus the Rams with his first double-digit fantasy ball game since week 3. He had 14 fantasy points was Gould. He hit a 37, 38, and a 34-yarder with 2 PATs this week versus Buffalo. The good thing, though, about this game I'll give them is now their home games are going to be in Arizona for San Francisco after the breakout of the virus has gotten worse in Frisco and California. But Gould this week, I think he'll go back to single digits and not have a good ball game. So I'm benching him. The second kicker I'm going to bench this week's Mason Crosby of the Green Bay Packers. You'll say, yeah, he's in a great offense and all, but the production and the points just haven't been there for Crosby this season, surprisingly to me too. And Crosby, he's only had 2 double-digit fantasy games since week 3, so Crosby, he hasn't gotten the job done. This week versus Chicago in week 12, he only had 2 fantasy points with 5 extra points and a missed one, so that's not getting the job done. This week versus Philly, Green Bay, I'm going to see them pounding the ball in the end zone where Crosby, he might only get 1 field goal attempt and the rest PAT. So he's a guy I'm just going to bench, and the production hasn't been there. So bench Crosby. The third kicker I'm going to bench this week, Stephen Gostkowski of the Tennessee Titans. He's been a kicker. He's missed a lot of kicks this season, is Gostkowski, even though he's in a top offense, one of the top 5, I believe, in this league. In the last 2 weeks, believe it or not, he's had double-digit fantasy points. But this week versus Cleveland, I think this Titan team, they're going to punch the ball in the end zone. And Gostkowski, I just can't trust him. He's not the same guy he was in New England here with Tennessee. And I don't think he's going to get many attempts, like I said. And I could even see him miss an extra point or 2 in this ball game. So I'm going to bench Gostkowski here, kicker. The fourth guy is Cody Fairbairn of the Houston Texans. I was high on Fairbairn for a few weeks, but now Fairbairn, he just hasn't done much in the last few weeks. Up and down he's been. Week 10, 1 point. Week 11, he had the bounce back with 10 points. And then on Thanksgiving last week, he had 7 fantasy points. But another guy starting to miss extra points. And this week versus Indianapolis, they give up the 9th least amount of fantasy points to kickers. In this ball game, I could see it being Indy just shutting them down or Texans scoring a bunch of touchdowns. It could go either way. And this ball game is indoors, which I like for Fairbairn, but he's a guy I just can't trust. He's been inconsistent, and he's a guy I'm just going to bench and not play. And the fifth and final guy is Randy Bullock of the Cincinnati Bengals. Bullock here, he got off to a hot start early in the season, but this Cincinnati offense is going to be pedestrian, I believe, the rest of the season now, with Joe Burrow out and Joe Mixon, who's been out now the last 4 or 5 weeks. And in this ball game, he's got a tough matchup versus a Miami Dolphin defense that really puts the clamps on offenses. Now with Brandon Allen in there, I could see Cincinnati barely getting in the red zone at all in this ball game. And Bullock, he's just not a guy you could use right now. And like I said, his numbers have gone way down in the last few weeks. And now with Burrow out as well now, it's just not going to be there for him. So Bullock's a guy I'm going to bench and possibly drop. So that's 5 kickers I'm benching here heading into week 13.